Michael Tanner, a man in his late 70s, steps into the car dealership, his weathered hands gripping an old cane. His sharp blue eyes, framed by silver hair, scan the luxury cars. He's dressed simply in a worn-out jacket and scuffed shoes, but there's a quiet dignity in his presence. He's not here for just any car. He's here with a mission, one that will change everything. What happens next will leave you speechless. It's a quiet afternoon at a luxury car dealership. The polished floors reflect the high-end cars parked in neat rows. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches gleam under the bright lights. The salespeople, dressed in sharp suits, stand by, ready for the next customer. The glass door swings open, and Michael Tanner, a man in his late 70s, steps in. His clothes are old and worn, his shoes scuffed from years of use. He moves slowly but with purpose. His eyes scan the room, landing on a bright red Ferrari in the center. One of the salesmen, Jack, notices him. Jack, a young, confident man in a tailored suit, raises an eyebrow, already judging Michael by his appearance. "Can I help you?" Jack asks, his tone cold and dismissive. Michael doesn't seem bothered. He walks up to the Ferrari, gently touching the smooth surface. There's a soft smile on his face, but his eyes are filled with sadness. "Yes," Michael says quietly. "I'd like to buy this car." Jack laughs, shaking his head. "Sir, this car costs more than most houses. I think you might be in the wrong place." Michael turns to face Jack, standing tall despite his frail appearance. "I'm not here for myself. This is for my granddaughter Lily. She's sick. It's her last wish to ride in a car like this." The laughter fades from Jack's face, but his smirk remains. "And how exactly do you plan to pay for it? These cars aren't cheap." Michael reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small, worn envelope. Inside are a few $100, carefully saved and folded. "This is all I have," he says, voice steady but filled with emotion. "I sold everything I could. I just want to give her this one last gift." Jack stares at the money, then at Michael. "That's not even close to enough. Look, I get it, but this isn't a charity. We sell to people who can afford it." Michael's shoulders sag a little, but he doesn't give up. "Please, you don't understand. She doesn't have much time left. This would mean the world to her." Before Jack can say anything more, the door to the office opens, and Samantha, the owner of the dealership, walks in. She's a sharp, no-nonsense businesswoman, but with a heart. She catches the tail end of the conversation and steps in. "What's going on here?" Samantha asks, her voice cutting through the tension. Jack, trying to regain his composure, shrugs. "This gentleman here thinks he can buy a Ferrari with pocket change. He says it's for his granddaughter, but—" Samantha holds up a hand, silencing Jack. She turns her attention to Michael, her expression softening as she sees the desperation in his eyes. "Sir, what's your name?" she asks kindly. Michael Tanner," he replies. Samantha steps closer, her gaze steady and full of understanding. "Michael, tell me about your granddaughter." Michael takes a deep breath, his voice shaking slightly as he speaks. "Her name is Lily. She's 10 years old. She's always loved cars, especially Ferraris. But she's sick. The doctors say she doesn't have much time left. I promised her that before." His voice cracks and he clears his throat. "Before she goes, I'd give her the ride of her dreams." Samantha listens intently, her heart moved by his words. She glances at Jack, who looks uncomfortable but remains silent. Turning back to Michael, she smiles gently. "Let's see what we can do." Jack steps forward, still unconvinced. "Samantha, we can't just give away cars. We have a business to run." Samantha's eyes harden as she looks at Jack. "This isn't about the money, Jack. Some things are more important." She turns back to Michael. "I can't give you the car, but I'll help you make this happen. We'll work something out." Michael's eyes fill with gratitude, his voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you. I don't know how to thank you." Samantha nods, a small smile on her lips. We'll do this for Lily. Samantha leads Michael into her office, away from the sales floor. Jack follows reluctantly, still skeptical, but curious. The atmosphere shifts from the shiny, high-end showroom to the quieter, more personal space of the dealership's inner workings. Michael sits down carefully, clutching the worn envelope of money. Samantha sits across from him, her hands folded on the desk. Michael, I understand why this means so much to you, but these cars, well, they're expensive. Even for a short ride, the costs are high. Michael nods, fully aware. I know. I don't want charity. I'm just trying to keep my promise. Even if it's just for a few minutes, I want her to feel like she's flying. Samantha exchanges a glance with Jack, who's leaning against the wall, arms crossed. She can see the doubt in his eyes, but she's already made up her mind. There's more at stake here than just business. After a moment of silence, Samantha speaks up. I have an idea, she begins, her voice thoughtful. We can't just give you the car outright, but what if we make this an event? Something special for Lily? Michael's brow furrows, not quite understanding. An event? Samantha nods. We can arrange a day where she gets to ride in the Ferrari, and we can do it upright. Make it a real experience. We'll cover the costs, and it won't just be a few minutes. It'll be her day. Michael's face softens, hope shining through his exhaustion. You would really do that? For her? Jack, still unconvinced, interrupts. Samantha, that's a lot of resources. A Ferrari like that. It's not just sitting around for free. Samantha looks at him sharply. It's not about the cost, Jack. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing. And this is the right thing. Jack opens his mouth to argue, but stops. There's something in Samantha's tone that leaves no room for debate. He exhales, shaking his head, but remains silent. Samantha pulls out a notepad and starts sketching out ideas. We'll need to coordinate everything. The car, the route, maybe even some decorations. This won't just be a ride. It'll be a memory for her. Something to take with her. Michael's eyes water, and he nods, unable to find the words to express his gratitude. She's always dreamed of this. I can't thank you enough. Samantha smiles, writing down more details. It's not about thanks. It's about making sure Lily gets her moment. Jack, still watching from the sidelines, steps forward. If we're really doing this, we need to make sure it's perfect. No mistakes. There's a slight change in his tone, a softening. Even though he's still thinking like a businessman, something about the situation has begun to reach him. Samantha nods. Agreed. Jack, I'll need you to handle the logistics, the car, timing, everything. We need this to run smoothly. Jack straightens, realizing he's being trusted with an important role. He glances at Michael, whose quiet determination and love for his granddaughter have started to affect him. All right, Jack says, nodding. I'll make sure it's all set. After laying out the plan, Samantha turns back to Michael. We'll make it happen this weekend. Bring Lily here, and we'll take care of everything. We'll give her the best day possible. Tears fill Michael's eyes, and he struggles to hold them back. I don't know how to thank you. You're doing more than I ever imagined. Samantha stands and walks around the desk, resting a hand on Michael's shoulder. You're giving us something priceless, Michael. We're just helping to make it real. As Michael gets up to leave, Jack watches him closely. For the first time, he sees beyond the worn clothes and the old shoes. He sees a grandfather fighting for a moment of joy for the person he loves most in the world. And despite his earlier reservations, Jack feels a shift inside him, a softening of his own heart. As Michael walks out of the office, Samantha turns to Jack. You see? This is why we do what we do. It's not always about the sales. Sometimes it's about making someone's dream come true. Jack looks down, nodding slightly. Yeah, I get it. Samantha smiles, knowing that even Jack, the hardened businessman, is beginning to understand what really matters. The day of Lily's dream ride has finally arrived. The sun is shining, and there's a buzz of excitement around the dealership. Samantha, Jack, and the rest of the team have been working hard to make sure everything is perfect. Outside, a shiny red Ferrari is parked at the entrance, sparkling under the sunlight. Michael pulls up in his old car, and there, in the passenger seat, is Lily. Her face is pale, but her eyes are wide with wonder as she takes in the sight of the luxury car waiting for her. This moment is everything she's been dreaming about. Samantha and Jack stand outside waiting to greet them. As Michael helps Lily out of the car, Samantha walks up with a bright smile. "Welcome, Lily," she says warmly. "Are you ready for your big day?" Lily's eyes light up as she nods shyly. "Is that really for me?" she whispers, her voice filled with awe. Samantha crouches down to her level, smiling. "Yes, it is. Today you're our VIP guest." Samantha and Jack lead Michael and Lily toward the Ferrari, where a few balloons are tied to the rearview mirror, and a small sign on the windshield reads, "Lily's Dream Ride." The dealership staff gather around, excited to see this moment unfold. Everyone knows the significance of this day. It's more than just a car ride. It's a dream come true. Jack, now fully invested in making the day special, opens the car door with a rare smile. "Let's get you into the driver's seat," he says gently to Lily, glancing at Michael, who watches with pride and emotion. Lily's eyes widen even more. "The driver's seat? I get to sit there?" Samantha laughs lightly. "Of course. You're the star today. We'll take you around the block and you'll feel like you're flying." Michael can barely hold back his emotions as he watches his granddaughter's excitement. This is the moment he's been fighting for, something that will lift her spirits and give her a memory she'll hold on to forever. Samantha helps Lily into the passenger seat, and Michael gets in beside her. The Ferrari's engine roars to life, and the sound alone makes Lily giggle with excitement. The entire dealership watches as Samantha takes the wheel and slowly pulls out of the driveway, making sure the ride is smooth and special for their little VIP. As they drive through the streets, Lily's face is pressed against the window, taking in everything. She feels the wind in her hair, hears the engine purring beneath them, and for a moment, she forgets about the sickness that's been weighing her down. Michael glances over at her, and the smile on her face brings tears to his eyes. "You like it, sweetheart?" he asks softly. Lily nods enthusiastically, her voice full of joy. "I love it, Grandpa. I feel like I'm in a movie." Samantha drives them around for a little while, making sure to keep the ride gentle but fun. The streets pass by in a blur, but for Lily, every moment feels magical. She laughs as they speed up slightly, feeling the power of the car beneath her. As they head back to the dealership, the mood in the car is light, filled with happiness and relief. Michael reaches over and squeezes Lily's hand, feeling like he's finally been able to give her something truly special. When they pull up to the dealership again, the staff is waiting with applause. They cheer as Lily steps out of the Ferrari, her eyes sparkling with joy. Jack, usually so reserved, gives a little clap himself, clearly moved by what just happened. Samantha walks over to Lily and kneels down again. "Did you enjoy your ride?" Lily grins from ear to ear. "It was the best day ever." Michael, overwhelmed with gratitude, hugs Samantha. "Thank you," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea what this means to us." Samantha pulls back, smiling. "It was our pleasure. This is what it's all about." Just as they're about to leave, Jack steps forward holding a small box. "Wait a second," he says, his tone softer than usual. "We've got one more thing." He hands the box to Lily, and she opens it slowly, revealing a miniature model of the Ferrari she just rode in. "It's yours," Jack says with a smile, "to remember your special day." Lily's eyes fill with tears, and she hugs the box tightly. "Thank you," she exclaims. Michael looks at Jack, his face full of appreciation. "You didn't have to do that," he says quietly. Jack shrugs, but there's a softness in his expression now. "I wanted to. Sometimes it's not about the sale. It's about the people." Samantha looks over at Jack, surprised but pleased by his words. For the first time, she sees that he's truly understood the meaning behind today. The joyful memory of Lily's Ferrari ride stays fresh in everyone's mind for days. Michael can't stop replaying the moment of her laughter and wide-eyed wonder as they drove through the city. But just as the warmth of that day starts to settle in, the story takes an unexpected turn. One evening, Michael receives a call from the hospital. Lily's condition has taken a sudden and serious downturn. Michael's heart sinks. He rushes to the hospital, his thoughts racing, the memory of her bright smile still so vivid in his mind. As he enters Lily's room, the doctors explain that her illness has progressed faster than they anticipated. Lily, now lying pale and fragile, looks up at her grandfather with tired eyes. Despite her weakened state, there's still a trace of the joy from that special day, but Michael can feel the weight of reality pressing down on him. Michael sits beside Lily's bed, holding her small hand in his. He tries to stay strong, but his heart is breaking. The grandfather who had fought so hard to make her dream come true now faces the unbearable truth. Despite all he's done, he can't protect her from the illness. Lily, sensing her grandfather's sadness, speaks softly. "Grandpa, I'll always remember our ride. That was the best day ever." Her words bring a bittersweet smile to Michael's face, but tears begin to well up in his eyes. "You were so brave, Lily," he whispers, struggling to keep his composure. "And you made me so proud." The room is quiet, filled with the love and pain of a family preparing for the inevitable. Samantha and Jack, who had grown close to Michael and Lily during this time, also feel the weight of the situation. They stand quietly outside the hospital room, feeling powerless but determined to support Michael in any way they can. Over the next few days, Michael spends every moment by Lily's side. The hospital staff, now familiar with their story, make special arrangements to ensure they're comfortable. Friends and family come by to visit, but Michael barely leaves her room, unwilling to miss a single moment. Samantha and Jack visit often, offering quiet support. Samantha, who had connected deeply with Lily, is particularly affected by the sudden change in her condition. She can't stop thinking about how full of life Lily had been during the Ferrari ride. Now, seeing her so frail, she feels a profound sadness, but also a deep sense of responsibility to keep Lily's spirit alive in some way. One night, with the moonlight gently filtering through the window, Lily's condition worsens. The doctors gently explain to Michael that there isn't much time left. Michael, holding her hand, knows that he must say goodbye, though the thought is unbearable. Lily, sensing the gravity of the moment, looks up at her grandfather with a faint but peaceful smile. "I'm so tired, Grandpa," she whispers, "but I'm not scared anymore, because you gave me my dream." Michael's heart breaks as he leans down and kisses her forehead. "I love you, Lily," he says, his voice trembling. "You'll always be my brave little girl." In the early hours of the morning, Lily quietly slips away, her hand still held tightly in Michael's. The hospital room is filled with silence, the kind that carries both sorrow and the quiet peace of a life well lived, even if too short. In the days that follow, grief envelops Michael. Losing Lily leaves a hole in his heart that nothing can fill. He spends hours sitting in her room, surrounded by her toys and memories, clinging to the last few moments they had together. Samantha and Jack also feel the loss deeply. The dealership, once buzzing with activity, now seems quieter, as though everyone is grieving in their own way. The memory of Lily's laughter during her Ferrari ride still echoes in their minds, a reminder of the joy they had been able to give her, if only for a short time. Samantha visits Michael at his home a few days later. "She was such a special girl," she says softly, sitting beside him, "and we were so lucky to have been part of her life, even if it was just for a little while." Michael nods, his eyes filled with tears. "That ride, it meant everything to her, and to me. Thank you for making it happen." Samantha places a hand on his shoulder. "It was our honor, Michael, and her memory will live on. We'll make sure of that." The weeks following Lily's passing are filled with grief and reflection for everyone who had been part of her journey. Michael, devastated by the loss of his granddaughter, struggles to find a way forward. He spends much of his time at home, surrounded by reminders of Lily, the toys she loved, the drawings she made, and the framed photo of their Ferrari ride that now hangs on his wall. Though the pain is still fresh, Michael finds comfort in knowing that Lily's final days were filled with joy. He often replays their last conversation in his head, clinging to the words she spoke about how happy that ride had made her. It was a small comfort, but it helped him through the darkest moments. Meanwhile, Samantha and Jack are also grieving in their own way. The dealership, once a place of excitement and high-end sales, now feels like a quiet reminder of the emotional journey they'd all been through. However, Lily's memory lingers in the air, and both Samantha and Jack feel a strong sense of responsibility to do something meaningful in her honor. One day, Samantha and Jack sit together in the quiet of the dealership office. They reflect on how much Lily's story has impacted not only Michael, but also everyone who was touched by the experience. Jack, who had initially seen the Ferrari ride as a simple favor, now understands the deeper significance behind it. "That day changed everything for us," Jack says, looking out the window at the now quiet dealership lot. "It wasn't just about selling cars anymore." Samantha nods thoughtfully. "It's like Lily reminded us of what really matters. It wasn't the Ferrari, it was the joy it brought her. We need to keep that spirit alive." Jack's face lights up with an idea. What if we created something in her honor, something that helps other kids like Lily experience that same kind of happiness? Even if just for a moment. Samantha's eyes widen as the idea takes root. "You mean like a foundation? A way to give kids facing similar battles a chance to experience their dreams?" Jack nods. "Exactly. We could call it Lily's Dream Foundation." The idea feels right. It's as if Lily's spirit is guiding them towards something bigger than just selling cars. They could use their platform to make a real difference, ensuring that other children could feel the joy that Lily experienced on her Ferrari ride. Samantha and Jack approach Michael with the idea a few days later. They visit his home, where he still spends his days quietly grieving. They explain the concept behind Lily's Dream Foundation and how they want to help children facing life-threatening illnesses by fulfilling their greatest wishes, much like they did for Lily. Michael listens quietly, his eyes downcast as they explain their vision. At first, he's hesitant. The loss of Lily is still so raw, and he isn't sure he can bear the emotional toll of being reminded of her struggle every day. "I don't know if I can do this," he admits, his voice heavy with sorrow. "It's too hard to think about all the kids like Lily, knowing that some of them might not make it." Samantha, understanding his pain, gently places a hand on his shoulder. "I know it's hard, Michael, but we could give them the same joy that you gave Lily. You showed her so much love in her final days, and this foundation would honor that. It would keep her memory alive by helping other children smile, just like she did." Jack adds, "It doesn't have to be something you take on alone. We'll handle the details, the logistics. We just want your blessing, and maybe a way to help you find peace through this." Michael is quiet for a long time. He gazes at the framed photo of Lily by his side and thinks about all the children who could have their dreams come true, just like Lily did. Finally, with a deep breath, he nods. "Lily would have loved this," he says softly. She always wanted to help others, even when she was sick. If this can bring happiness to other kids, then I'll do it. For her. Samantha and Jack smile, feeling the weight of Michael's decision. Together, they begin to plan the next steps, knowing that this foundation could turn Lily's story into something far greater than any of them had imagined. In the following weeks, Samantha, Jack, and Michael work tirelessly to set up the foundation. They reach out to contacts, gather resources, and build a team dedicated to fulfilling the wishes of terminally ill children. The community rallies behind them, touched by Lily's story and eager to contribute. The day finally comes to launch Lily's Dream Foundation. The dealership is decorated in Lily's favorite colors, and a crowd of supporters, friends, and family gather for the event. Samantha and Jack stand proudly beside Michael, who, though still grieving, has found a new sense of purpose. As the ceremony begins, Michael steps up to speak. His voice is shaky at first, but he speaks from the heart. "Lily was my world," he says, fighting back tears, "and even though she's gone, her spirit lives on through this foundation. We're going to help other children experience the same joy that she felt that day in the Ferrari. This is for her, and for all the kids who deserve a chance to smile." The crowd applauds and the foundation is officially launched. As the day unfolds, there's a sense of hope and healing in the air. Lily's memory will now live on, not just in Michael's heart, but in the lives of countless children whose dreams will be fulfilled.